You don't need to buy out everything on there. You gotta. Spin somebody.
There you go. Actually, there's
She is there.
Saturday.
Very good.
All right, you're recording, you're live, you're all set?
And then
Thank you. So you're,
when we're done, somebody needs to,
nobody's asking.
we can shut it off, but Terry was saying that you have to lock up the Zoom and all, the owl.
Usually I do it in the morning after your guys' meeting, so it's
Okay.
not an issue.
Okay.
Yep, just make sure the computer's shut.
No, we know how to turn, that's the only thing we know how to do.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:07. Adjustments to agenda.
None.
Well, I have one adjustment, which is that Rachel has said that she would rather spend her energy on outreach and community connections and all, instead of being secretary, and I said that was fine. But the upshot is, and Henry's already doing it, any of you who could make notes that you could share a copy of with me so that I can pull together minutes would be appreciated. Because I can't take minutes and run the meeting.
And what I was suggesting is that we have AI take them.
AI?
Because, and I'm a little bewildered because she just went out on the Zoom. I mean, it's just a suggestion. I'm in a lot of meetings now where I know the one that works really well with the UN is they use Google Meet. And they really like the minute taking that's on Google Meet. It's a like a chat GTV, right, embedded within Google Meet. And you simply say, take minutes, boom. Everybody's aware and it proceeds. And it's pretty good. I mean, you have to edit it, you know,
Right.
there's no question. They, names get garbled.
So what's it called? I'll look it up online.
That's embedded within Google Meet.
Google
But
Meet.
Google Meet, it's
but that is
it's
the-
an app, it's a
not-
functionality embedded within Google Meet. But I believe there's a similar one on Zoom. I would
Yeah,
say,
there is one called Otter AI, which needs work. They may have a better one also embedded on Zoom if we can find it.
Okay,
Well, it's something we can ask Hannah to look into, because that would be a huge help.
exactly, for all of them.
Yes.
yeah, much easier like the
Committees.
secretary if you don't have.
Yeah, nobody likes to take notes, because then you can't really participate, so. Fine,
I apologize.
no problem.
That's okay, nice and that. Okay, view and approval of our meeting minute.
I'm gonna motion to approve the minutes.
My second,
Okay. Any discussion?
you mind if I go look for Zoom, at the Zoom?
Sure.
You think it would show on there? Maybe I should find it. Okay, all in favor?
Right? I didn't do anything yet.
Yeah,
Well,
there is
something
AI
happened.
companion right there.
That's why I was just going into AI Companion.
May take a little more looking. Budget request, annual report calendar. We talked last time about first of all, not knowing what to do about water quality monitoring. And Theo got back to me. We vaporized that.
Put it back on.
Okay, yeah, I could hear. Theo got back to me and said, they did not do bacterial testing this summer. That they only did whatever it is you do for, the state. John,
It
do
is
you know
what
about
we
it?
do for the state. But
Not up here.
I know we took the water samples for bacterial sampling every time. This is the
Well,
first I heard that.
All I know is
They
she
were
said
taking
we
them.
didn't do the testing, which would mean we didn't take those samples to a lab and get results.
We brought them to the Thompson lab.
He did my fucking truck with a lot.
Every time, but it,
Why are we getting that?
No, you're just getting, it's,
My back's killing me.
Some man
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, it's probably at Sally's house.
Into my fucking truck.
Somebody's online.
Swollen. Yeah.
I have no idea.
She has to do it. You can possibly mute her.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to.
Hey.
Shut that off, I'm,
It's Sally's. She's having a conversation. She's got a microphone on. She's having a conversation with someone in her house.
Oh,
That's what you're hearing.
sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can mute yourself.
we were getting these strange inputs. All right, so it must be that, in fact, you did do the sampling, and if you took them to Thomaston and nobody's been billed, I guess they were still doing them for free.
I don't know that.
Well,
I'm
I'm just
really
gonna
part
have
of
to
that, yeah.
assume because I'm just playing tag with Theo.
So the question is, do we?
Do
cut
we
the
ask for
funding?
that money next year? I think we just ask for it saying. In case, cause
Yeah,
no harm done and it just goes back to the treasury at the end of
Yes.
the year if we don't need it. But we've already made the sale, so why don't we just hang on to it?
Theo, at the beginning of every year, seems to have to do some negotiation with the town. And it's always unsure whether we're going to get the bacterial sample.
Right.
But I've always been under the impression, well, I know we've been taking the samples,
Okay,
and bringing them to the lab. So it seems that has been making those arrangements.
I'm just gonna assume it happened.
Okay.
If we know that much,
Yeah,
I mean, what were they gonna do with them except test them?
right.
Okay. One thing that would be lovely to get, and I never have managed, is the results.
I've never.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe next year we can make that push.
Apparently there is a new way of reporting the results that she says is coming online. She says you're able to get them now, but it's not easy, and I've never been able.
And that's the results from the state.
The results from the state.
And that does not include the bacterial, which would be a different stream of information.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well, in somebody's copious spare time, we can try and track all this down. But for the budget, I'm just gonna ask for the money again, and the other budget issue was. We have money to spend and we need to look like we have a plan. Linda, who's unable to come because they're traveling, suggested, and she said she had gone to a really good talk from Rebecca Jacobs, who's apparently not with Knox Lincoln anymore, but on vulnerability of shoreline and so on, which would tie in very nicely with the South Thomaston St. George initiative on the climate action plan. So I was thinking maybe we could have a series of talks that tied in with what they're seeking in the climate action plan. But we need to jump on it and get things lined up.
There were
Reaction?
talks on that topic.
I'm
already.
sorry,
There were talks last year on that topic in Rockport.
right, and there was, wherever Linda heard it, I don't think it was Rockport, but I can't ask her right now. Anyway, so that would be one, certainly. I think we could talk to the Resilience Committee and to the folks in St. George and say, if you guys got suggestions on educational programs we could do that would tie in with what you're doing on. I don't have time to do that right now. You think you could, that Rachel? You volunteering or asking a
No, I-
question?
No, my question is why not broaden it out? I think I wrote you a note myself this week.
I must have missed it.
Okay, I wrote a note about the budget, and my
Oh, I
suggestion
did miss
was
it.
to consider a speaker series
Yeah,
on a whole range of topics that might be relevant to the work of the Conservation Commission. I was not gonna just go with climate resilience, although that sounds great to me, but I do think a way to spend money, offer something to the community, speaker series, and offering people even, $100 or $50 of a token thank you for speaking.
right, and if
Is
it's
a good way to spend $200 or $300, and it gathers a community of like-minded and interested
Right.
people. But I would even consider something, could even be on trail building, on, establishing a birding sanctuary. I mean,
Well,
I don't know,
trail
I was
building
thinking
is
about a range of
absolutely
things.
fine. If we can get someone to talk about that.
Well, that group the guy came in and talked to us.
Oh, Georges River.
Right. Yeah, approach them and then we could advertise that and tie that in with trying to get people involved in moving this project along. Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Ray was
Okay.
interested in, Ray, who has Lena, who had shop up the road in the little farm, he was mentioning topics like restorative agriculture and, silvopasture and, new things to, new ways of doing small scale growing and gardening around here that are more,
Okay.
that are kind of cost effective gardening. I don't know, it was an interesting idea
Uh-huh.
too, but I'm willing to, call one or two or be on a subcommittee. If there's a bunch of us who wanna just have one call and think of some subjects and some people and then divide up and make some calls and see if we could come up with something.
That would be
And it has to be
great.
before July 1st, is that the end of the?
End of the fiscal year,
Fiscal year.
exactly. We've gotta do it this spring,
Right.
but I'm open to any suggestions, but I
So if
am
we
willing to,
had
I think
March,
a speaker
April,
series
May,
is a
June,
good way to go.
And $100 honorarium, which, if somebody works for an outfit that does this routinely, we can donate to that organization.
Exactly.
So that gets us closer. That gets us a lot
How
closer.
much do you have, 600 and something?
650.
Is
So-
anyone else willing to sit like on have a phone call, a subcommittee, like
Yeah,
sometime
I
in the
would.
next week? And
Okay,
have a think about,
Mhm.
brainstorm and make some
Yeah.
calls?
No, I
Yeah,
think that's a great
and
idea.
because of the time crunches, if you run into, I'm perfectly willing to trust whoever's putting that together that it's a decent topic. So
Well, that's why
if you
we
can get
find out
somebody
the
to
small
say,
group.
if you can
Right.
get somebody to say yes before the next meeting, that they're willing to do it in, April or something like that, that would be good.
Or March.
Otherwise, we lose a month.
well, ideally March, April, May, June.
Right.
So when do we have the talk? Like on a Saturday, on an evening?
What do you think? Whatever,
Yeah,
Well, what I'd suggest is that the subcommittee hammer all that out.
Right.
I would be in favor of evening,
Oh, it's gotta be evening,
yes.
there was a suggestion.
evening or weekend,
remember,
but weekends,
from
people
Guilford
get so
Butler,
busy.
That there was a frustration for working families that there were not enough events on weekends.
On what?
Right,
On
so-
the
Weekends.
weekend.
They said evenings are not
Mm.
good for working families.
That's, well, true, and if
But I
you've got
think
kids in school that got homework.
I think that that's something that the subcommittee could
Mhm.
work on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's a very good point. If you're trying to get people that,
Okay. so
local
just,
that work, yeah, I get that. All right.
I just wanted to. So there was shoreline, there was trail,
Okay.
and there was
Yeah.
restorative agriculture.
Something, because,
Please.
I know families are concerned, so are you gonna have a children focused topic? And if it's not, then it doesn't
There you
matter.
Right.
You know, for the rest of the adult population, evenings during the week might be better.
Okay,
I know I'm very busy on the weekend.
Right,
okay. And would you like to
So-
be on the subcommittee?
No, I'm busy with other stuff.
Marie, you
Yes,
would?
yep.
Excellent. Okay, Henry, were you in?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
okay, so we've got,
Rachel, Marie and Henry will have a call. And try to sort it out.
great, and you've just tossed out 4 ideas already. So,
Let's see.
right. Great. All right.
Okay.
Um. Let's see. Forest Preserve, update on marking the boundary. Catherine, you wanna take that?
Well, I had a chat with,
We did.
yes, it was like at the museum, but
If you would just back,
we're interested in
could
help.
you back up and just report a little on our meeting with, Letitia?
Letitia, yes, we sat down and looked at the survey, which carried, you know, the reference points from the surveyor. And she has obviously a software that was able to translate those points into GPS coordinates. So now we have GPS coordinates for remarkable points along the boundary on the survey.
Okay,
The problem with GPS coordinates is that, you know, they are good at very large scales. So
Yeah.
here that plot is very small in comparison to the scale, so the differentiation is at the third decimal or
Right.
something like that. So to use those coordinates, we need obviously a sophisticated reading instrument. And I'm hoping that Marion would have one, given that it's her profession. You know, my phone is just not gonna be precise enough to do it, and buying a tool is like a few $100 that I don't feel like spending right now, so,
Right.
I just want to raise the point that we need to spend money. Why not get a better GPS coordinate handheld device?
Well, would we ever need it again?
well, you know, if you want to find a point or again, so
It may be useful in building trails.
Building trails.
building trails and marking them and.
Okay, well, if somebody wants to look into
So,
what
that would be-
an
Do
adequate
you wanna
one.
look into it?
I can, or if you have. You had a reference person, this Letitia person that could,
Letitia Van Buren is Knox County's GIS expert,
okay,
and her services are free.
she could tell us, point us in the right
County
direction.
Yeah, she would not have such small instruments. She deals in massive databases, you know.
She's using satellite imagery. a lot
Yes,
of it.
yes.
But she might know which ones are
I
good.
might be able to recommend a brand or something
Okay,
like that.
yeah,
I would think Marin would be the first one to
Mhm.
ask.
Okay,
Because, you know, she did, that's her job, to be on the ground all the time.
Yeah.
And, Luke had mentioned a few apps, but again, those apps depend on the phone, so I don't think they're gonna be any better.
I would assume this machine is gonna come with some type of app.
Yes,
Function.
well, I think they are like handheld readers, you know, and they would have a GPS locator of some sort. So I don't know if it's going to require a connection to your wireless, you know, provider or whatever. I have no clue. I didn't look into the technology, how it works exactly. But if you do a search on Google, I mean, I have seen something at $350 and, you know, trying to get a review of the various devices, what was better, and so I didn't dig essentially.
But we have the GPS coordinates. of
We
the-
have the GPS coordinate of the points that
the
we can
so
look for.
we-
So Marion had offered to help us, you know, do the blazing for a fee. And,
so
I'm
that,
in,
well, that's, right, oh,
can I
all of
finish?
this, wait a minute, all of this would likely be something we'd have to apply to the preserve budget, not the Conservation Commission.
The preserve budget, to me, they are the same.
What's the
They are
difference?
not the same, they're two different line items in
Got
the
it.
budget.
Okay,
Okay, well, we have donations. The donations are not to the Conservation Commission. The donations are to the preserve.
Right, so,
So, again, if we could get an accounting of how much money we have on hand to compare to the needs that we have forthcoming, I'm pretty sure, I mean, could be my understanding that we have at least $1,700 left to pay Maren to work on that blazing. And then the good news, as you may have read in your emails, is that we just got a donation of $5,000. Okay, and that donation has made it to George River Land Trust. So those 5,000, I had told Zachary, who made the donation, that they would be kind of encumbered toward the appraisal and environmental survey that we still have to do. Okay, so, but from what we have accumulated so far, it would be my hope that we have at least $1,700 left to do the blazing.
we have plenty of money, we have like $20,000 or something.
But I think
That.
for a political reason, reason within the town right now, taxes are going up so fast that if we can maintain all our expenses within the donated money, I think that would be really good.
Well, right, but if we have to dip into a bit of the reserve, I don't think
I
that's a problem.
understand, but to me, like the reserve, it would be nice if they stay as reserve, and like if we have to apply for grant, again, they present a pot that shows the commitment of the town
Right,
to that project, so, I think the sooner we can get the money back from LMF, I think that would be a huge sigh of relief for a lot of people.
but at this point, we still want you to look into researching a GPS device.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah,
so,
that's for the yearly expenditure thing.
Right, yeah, and that will be coming out of the conservation budget.
but
It's
also,
not clear if our only use of it is for the preserve.
It
I'm
can
not
be used for the
sure.
rest of the town,
Right.
assessing other open lines or whatever, so I would have it come out of
Alright. Well,
annual line.
an
budget.
argument could be made.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and let's hope that over time, I mean, I can see where we'd have more.
yeah, so
more than the
I would like to finish the blazing discussion. John and I have expressed interest in helping Maren do that work.
Mm.
Because I think if we can have both our sets of eyes on the exact location of those boundaries, then we can tell others and it can become better known where the, preserve stops. And so I can contact her if we have an agreement that, yes, we should go ahead, so that again, we can get on her schedule. And I know John is gonna be traveling at some point, I'm gonna be traveling as well, so again, finding, and the weather has to cooperate, obviously. We wanna do it, before the leaves come out.
Hmm.
But after some of the snow has melted.
it's
So-
nice to do it while things are frozen though, so, because there are a lot of wetlands.
Yeah,
and-
but you don't wanna go deep, down to your knees in the snow, which is what it is, So, I'll contact her.
Okay,
So are we?
is it $1,700, just?
I think that's what sticks in my mind, that she had
Okay.
mentioned something.
That was an estimate of what it would cost. for-
Yeah, I think we can review, I think she had mentioned it in some communication to us in the past, so going back to those exchanges, we can probably find a number. But I have $1,700 stuck in my mind.
will she have her own GPS device so that we don't have to purchase?
I do not know, I mean, I'm sure she would have one, but again, the matter is when she's not with us, what do we do?
Okay, yeah, okay.
You keep, I'm just for the minutes, I just
Yeah.
need her name.
Maren, Maren, and last name is Granstrom, Granstrom.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll contact her and see, again, it's a matter of getting on her schedule. And do we need permission from the select board to spend that amount of money?
Not exactly, I think.
No, and it's part of what we have to do anyway.
Yes, I would keep them informed, but
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, we don't need them to vote on it or anything.
Right.
Are we done with that? So, could you go on to appraisal?
Appraisal, so it has been an adventure to get in touch with Jesse Studley. I had called and not heard back,
Is that a
and
man or a woman?
it's a man, young voice from what I could tell. I called again, there was no answer, and I tried emailing using the email that had been provided by St. George, because they have, engaged services. And his email kept bouncing back to me. So my fault, I had 2 typos, in a row. And then finally, I checked like letters by letter, and it still kept coming back, not a working email address. So I was like, scratch, because he's part of the company, and RPS, they list him on their website, they give his phone number, and so I was like, is he on vacation? Did he pass away? And anything could, and I, in desperation, I called again, like it was an hour maybe after I had first called, and miracle, he answered.
Oh, good.
So he's live. And I say, I'm trying to email you something and I'm having trouble with your email address. And he say, oh, yes, but that's all changed. So I have a new email address. And I sent him, a note explaining that we needed appraisal services, explaining the plot and the LMF grant. I sent him, and then I sent via separate email the attachment of the survey of the easement to access the property, and an aerial picture so that he has an idea of what we're looking at. And, my question was, we would like to know whether you're interested in, providing services, and then obviously we would love an estimate. And Zippo in return.
Disappeared.
It's like, I'm so used, if somebody contacts me, I acknowledge receiving that and say, I'll respond later and I'm too busy, but, so I'm giving him another day, and then I'm going to try to contact him again to ask, did you receive my email? Yay or nay, and then see from there. So, we made progress in the sense that we have contact. We know there is a person there, but still no progress with respect to, availability or even a number. So working on it. That's my news.
Okay, well, related to that, as I explained last month, Sally and I had this exasperating Zoom meeting with LMF, trying to find out what must we do in what sequence. And as far as I understand, you must do A before B, and B before C, and C before A. I mean, it's just, we went around in circles again and again. The one thing I think I understand is they do not want this is all about public access. They don't want any public access restriction on the preserve. They're only talking about the right of way, the access easement. So my latest thinking is, and then I'll run it by. I think I need to run it by Jeff and Sue and then run it by LMF, would be, we have permission from town meeting to, select board has permission to execute a deed creating the easement. And that authority says this does not create a public right of way, or words to that effect. So last night at the select board meeting, at which, for one thing, they agreed that we can have a special town meeting on March 10 to vote to go to a 5-member select board. And I asked, okay, we've got these outstanding forest preserve issues, can that be on the same meeting? And they said yes. So the two things we need to do are apply to the Klein property the same correction that we've applied to Smith, and do something about this easement mess. So I've done a draft which says that notwithstanding that language, the town authorizes the select board to provide for a public right of access subject to reasonable conditions on times of access and manner of use, to the extent it's required to qualify for the LMF grant. And then we would get that voted on March 10, and then I would send it all without recording the deeds to LMF. We need to talk to the appraiser about this. We want to ask, first of all, is LMF right when they say you'll be happy to do an appraisal as if these deeds had been executed? You know, what would the land be worth if these deeds were executed, and explain that LMF has told us to hold off on actually doing it. Yes.
Could I obtain a draft of the deeds? Because
Oh, yeah.
the appraiser will.
Oh, yes,
want
you
to
will.
see
Yes,
that.
they will want a draft of, they will also want a draft of the 5-into-1.
Yes,
we will
the
yes.
deed of the property, like the way it's gonna be recorded.
Yes, these are
So,
draft deeds that
Even if
were,
they have not been registered, these are the draft, and I can tell him we are going, that's what we are going for.
well, and after March 10, you can say, and we have town meeting permission to execute them. And it's LMF that has told us to wait until they go through this drill with their lawyers.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him, these are the draft of the deeds, we fully intend to execute them as they are. So would you please give us an appraisal of the property, assuming these deeds are registered?
Right, right.
And then, you know, if we
Yes.
can say provisional appraisal, then once they are registered, we contact him again and say, now the deeds are registered, would you please give an official appraisal?
Right.
You know,
I would think there may be a way to get an official appraisal on as if, but I don't know. That's
well,
a
you
question
know, again,
for-
it's a matter of talking to him. I'm
Yes, it
sure he
is.
has a lot
Yes,
of
it is.
experience.
Yeah.
Right.
And, but I would need, you know, as soon as possible, the draft of the deeds.
I
Can you email them to me? That would be.
I will email them.
Okay, great.
Yes, and actually. But you will. Anybody can go onto the website, go to annual reports or annual meeting. And go. Pull up these, I'll give you,
It's a matter of chewing the work for him, you know, the less time he has to
no,
spend.
no, I'm not suggesting he would do this, I'm just telling you, all this stuff is available. I will send it to you. But it would also be good if you guys knew how to find it for yourselves.
Is it on the
Okay, so it's on the town meeting. Going to the
Under
town meeting.
you go, and then there's a list by date of town meetings. With minutes or whatever it says,
Mhm.
so that it shows what every vote was, you know, this was voted down, this was approved, whatever. Which I nagged the town and they've caught up on those. Yes,
Let me ask you a question. So, the two approvals that you're gonna seek at the special town meeting on March 10th, are, one is the revision of the Klein deed. And the second is,
It's not the revision of the Klein deed.
okay, can you repeat what the two,
It is
Approvals
a
are-
revision of the restrictions on the Klein land that the town meeting voted on. And don't worry about it, I can put in the dates that all this happened.
okay, the restrictions on the Klein property?
You know, and the restrictions are to make them match exactly the restriction on the Smith land. So that will make it possible to put 5 into 1, because they have to be subject to
Got it.
all the same restrictions.
Got it. And the second approval that you're seeking?
Is they've already given permission for the town to deed, for the people of South Thomaston to deed to the people of South Thomaston that right of way. I think it may be possible that the LMF lawyers will say you have to put in language that say this runs with the land. It can't be taken back by the people of South Thomaston. And they may say, and you have to have language saying there's a public right of access. And we would insist that we could put conditions on that. So those will be the two. I can share the draft. I put together a draft today of the language for that, plus the language for the 3 select board to 5. Okay. So that's a way forward, I think, through this morass that LMF handed us. The final item there, I've not looked at at all, the LMF invitation to apply for a stewardship grant.
I'm swamped, I can't look into that. We'll go
right.
back another time if we can, when we're ready.
Right,
I mean, to me, my objective is to just plow through the conditions and get the money back
Yes.
to the town.
yes,
Once that's done, then, I will search what are grants available, do we need grants, what to do what?
And that's also that group that the guy came from,
For trail building, I
for
think.
trail building.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Signs
Yeah,
and,
it- that's a business.
chips
that-
along the
Their
trail.
business is doing all of that. That is their
Yeah,
business.
But it's like,
But we don't have the manpower.
but, and again, before we chew more than, no, bite more than we can chew. It may not be needed, and that's what,
right,
one of the visitors was saying, is
Okay.
you don't need an avenue, for, the trails don't have to be avenues, the trails can be simple paths. You have to be user focused. And so there is a lot of planning, and that's why, I know people are eager to go, and there is definitely work that can be done by maintaining the roads that are there. But before we start opening trails, there is a lot of planning that has to happen as to what use, hiking, biking, bicycling, and snowshoeing, cross-country skiing. And then depending on the use, figure out, and we can get expert advice on all these things, but what are the regulations, widths, and way of constructing trails for all these uses. Because if it's mountain biking, again, it doesn't have to be very wide. And the compacting, we may not have to bring outside material, what's in place can be used probably efficiently. So the goal should be to disrupt what's there as little as possible. And reuse, if we cut branches or whatever. I think at some point a good investment might be a mulcher,
Chipper.
A
because.
portable gas powered chipper that you would take along the trail.
Yeah, and it's
So it
like-
actually chips onto your trail as you're.
And it's the local
That's a good
wood
one.
and, that would be, I know of one, so,
Well, when we get into actual trail construction and stuff like that, I have a chipper on a tractor.
You do?
you do have a
Yes,
cheaper,
just-
okay.
My problem is getting the tractor over here.
That's right.
But
Yeah,
I-
and that's the key, the cheaper I have is so darn heavy, it's like,
I can drive it, I mean, I can drive it on the roads to bring it over and just leave it over by the.
yeah, you know.
But on this one, I'm taking notes too, everyone. Cause I told Sandra I would till we had have a recording, but,
Okay,
you're noting that we need more time
Yes.
and planning
Planning.
before we start trail building and applying for grants.
Yeah, we
Okay.
need, you know, we can use help and volunteer to clean up the paths that already
Exactly.
exist, you know, and that takes a lot of work already, so, but. Before cutting down trees to open trails, I'm like, hold it. you
Oh,
know.
yeah, no, that's
no.
ways off,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know.
but I think also
Working.
cleaning up the road where it's,
Yeah,
Really a
that's what I
mess.
just said, yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm talking about the access road. And that's different from the trails inside.
Yeah,
Preserve.
you know, the access road will be a big thing and the ruts again are so deep that
Mhm.
here we can use you know, probably resources from the town, like I'm thinking those big gravel piles, you know, they can brought into.
Well, when I was looking at, and granted, it was some snow on it and stuff like that, but where the problem starts, you can get a truck right up to where the
Yeah.
problem starts, and so you can have the gravel dumped right
Yeah.
ahead of where we wanna work, and then get a tractor on site, they can spread it out, you know, so.
You know,
I
yeah,
can't say as I built gravel roads, but I have built roads through the woods, so.
So, one thing that you brought up when you and I had a conversation was, one thing we don't know is whether the condition of the access road affects the value of the property. And if it does, and we have a little, unfortunately, we can't do anything now, but, depending, you
yeah,
know, that might be a priority to. If there are a few things like dumping a couple loads of gravel that would materially improve the road before the
Yeah.
land is appraised,
Yeah.
that would be worth doing.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, well, you gotta get somebody that sells this stuff down there so they can tell us how many cubic yards.
Our friend, Mr. Wilson, maybe we can get him involved.
Well, I'm not gonna turn away help from any border.
There you go.
So, and that all gets back to public engagement and trails planning, and that's part of what you guys are working on, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
public engagement, that's your.
Oh, me, public engagement, sorry, it's up to me, okay, well, I just feel like I'm kind of building, let me build off Henry. I think there are plenty of people who are willing to go out as soon as the snow allows, but we can't do anything until the
Well,
snow recedes a little
except
bit.
try and find them and get their expression of willingness. That would be a start.
Yeah, I think we do have enough, we have a few people, and I
We have
don't
a
think we want
few.
17 chainsaws out there at the
Well,
same
no,
time.
but
You know, I think we have,
Peter.
Peter, Jorgensen,
Yep.
we have Steve Snow,
Yeah.
both willing and experienced and with chainsaws, ready to be there at a call.
Yeah.
At least Steven said to me, he said,
Mhm.
just let me know when you guys are ready, but we obviously aren't doing anything in the snow.
Yeah.
And, I know you had some dates, not now, but I think we're just on hold
Yeah.
until it's
And then
accessible.
then you have mud, so.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna take a tractor in there, that's for
Mud.
sure. Once it's-
It did occur to me that it's probably a decent idea to compose a letter and put in the paper. Just saying, you know, looking for, you know, residents of.
Well, we
Yeah.
can put it
I
on the
think we should do
listserv
when
at the
we have
website.
When we have a prospect of a date.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
know, and we have a couple of core
Yeah.
people on the
Uh-huh.
committee and otherwise we're gonna go in.
Oh, no, I was,
Then I think I'm happy to send a note, have Hannah
I
send a
see.
note
Yeah.
and say, this is happening.
yeah,
And, while we don't want too many chainsaws, there's always value. I'm sorry.
well, the chainsaw can make it work for 3 people, so.
So what I would propose is, yes, you know, at some point, let's appeal to volunteers and have them declare themselves volunteers willing to help. And then hold a session you know, how are we going to work? We can't just have an army of people
With
going out there.
chainsaws.
Yes.
Well, if we have that,
Oh.
if we do that
That-
public discussion.
no,
as
that would
part
be
of
the
what we're
least of
talking
our
about,
problem.
Having,
We had an
having
army
talk
for it.
about trails, we can just, you know.
Yes,
ask the
but it's
people
like,
there.
you know, I don't want people to take it upon themselves, to say, oh, I'll go clean up a corner,
Right.
and you know.
Mm.
No, this is not free, open for all, you know, I think we need to maintain the control about what's happening, where and when,
Yes,
okay?
But we have plenty to do that's so blatantly obvious. that
Yes.
Is public and we don't have to be too controlling, but I do think that somebody from the commission needs to be on
Right.
on any work team that's going out there. That would be my minimum.
Well,
Like, there has to be someone on the commission.
Exactly,
and,
exactly,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying, it's
Yeah,
like.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and I mean, at some point in the spring, we could put together a list of works projects, you know, what needs to get done first and second and
Yes.
third, and just start checking.
Yes.
them off or
I
Something
think
like
we
that.
get started as soon as we have clarity, and we have clear ground.
Yeah. All
I
right,
wanted to say, has anybody been out skiing or, cause I've been doing a lot of snowshoeing on my land.
On my face, I almost
And then I
died
got
of exhaustion.
And except the other day I thought, why don't I go cross country, why don't I go, not cross country skiing, why don't I go snowshoeing up and see what it's like?
It's really quite, it's really nice.
Have you been up there
Yeah. a
on
few times.
snowshoes?
With no issue. There's a
It's
beautiful,
this days,
there's
yeah.
a beautiful beaver bog back there.
Okay,
That is with, you know, big.
Oh.
Yeah, great,
Dam and a.
I could do that someday.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's really quite nice.
okay, I'll give you a buzz, alright. If I go out, I'll let anybody
Yeah.
know, let others know, in case anyone wants to join. Text when you go out.
well, having 3 people on snowshoes is way better than 1.
Yeah.
You can take turns breaking trail.
Absolutely.
There is broken a little bit of.
Is it broken at the beginning already up that opening road?
Well, up to the beaver bog, you know, which is, you know, most of the way to the other
Most of
side.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay.
I went in my backyard, you know, across several plots and neighbors.
Work.
I was down to my knees, I
Yeah.
mean, that was work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Now, but now that it's softened up and gotten cold again, it'll crust.
it's gonna
off.
be, yeah, it's really.
That's perfect snowshoeing weather. First I've had since I moved to.
Well. You can,
So under public engagement, donations and trail planning, which is what we're talking about right now, I mean, much of what we discussed was discussed ahead, but it's more a question about, the only thing for the minutes is that trying to organize and how we're gonna deal with volunteers is pretty much what we discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that everybody here but me sounds like they'd be willing
We'll
to
send
get
you,
in on
we'll
the
send you
stuff.
pictures of. We'll send you text you
Yeah,
some
dude, I
pictures.
love pictures of the Beaver Lodge.
let's just say trail building teams will start as soon as the snow pattern allows.
Anyway, I think we're through everything we have to discuss unless somebody thinks I've skipped something.
Instead of focusing on always trail building, you know, want people to get maintenance in their mind.
That's good, okay.
Maintenance is what we're gonna start with, maintenance of what already exists, and we need volunteers to do that, you know, and because maintenance is gonna be a yearly activity.
Right.
Things grow.
Right, and
Nature does that.
and trails deteriorate,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So under this programming planning for the year of 2025-26, that pretty much got discussed
Yeah,
earlier. Okay, all right, so I'll
I
just
think,
drop that down more. Make this into
Right.
correct minutes.
exactly.
Yeah.
It pitchforked its way in.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
not gonna try to talk about the county working group reports. And, I think we're done.
Great,
Alright.
so it is adjourned at,
I'm adjourning the meeting at 5:55.
brilliant.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send to you and Henry both what I took for minutes.
Okay,
Great,
How's that?
yes.
So the copies I've made, John, if you want a set of surveys,
Oh, great.
you know, you can have
So there's 2 different surveys.
yes, and we are, I think the way they did it is like they are collated one after the other, like
Oh,
and,
1, 2, 1, 2, okay.
I'll need some, you know, try to set aside 3 sets for potential surveyors.
Yeah, there were how many sets?
I didn't know, this is all, so I can take back 3 sets if you want.
Sure.
Who is Neil
So you
Cambridge?
want 3 of these?
Cambridge, you don't know? He's the head of the,
Is he on our, this commission?
he's an adjunct, an associate.
Who rarely come, but stay sort of connected.
So. So these lines here don't distract from the reading, they are just from the copies of my survey. So this is the preserve. And here is the, no, still the preserve because I took. So here there should be, voila, so that's one set. If you have one set, this is the preserve with Pusset Road and blah, 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 the town here, road. No, that's not the right direction. I always get confused. The town, yes, yeah. Yeah, it's was I looked at it in the right direction, that would help. So the town office is right here, and this is Woods Road. So now the survey below, you know, surveys this whole thing up to here and proposes the access right here. And then we can rejoin the town road with the open quarry and so forth. The tennis court is down this way.
Right, yeah, what's the
You all
channel,
set
sorry?
with our shutting this off and stuff?
Oh,
Those-
right.
See, this is, that's it. you
Yeah,
know,
the tennis courts.
Yeah, the tennis courts are here, so this is the access, stump dump. And here you are, you know, those points here, 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 here. Okay.
Got it, all right?
Okay,
So you're
yeah.
coming in all this way before you get into the preserve.
You can't even, the preserve is not here, the preserve is down here.
I had always assumed once we got through here, we were in the preserve.
No, this
That's
is
just
town
existing, the
property.
previously owned town land.
You know, eventually if the town donate, we could add this whole back plot to the preserve. And so,
So all this walk that we took.
yeah,
Is not on the, is not in the preserve.
no.
And why the heck, we're going all the way up here?
We have to
Then how
go
much work
here
did we do
because,
on that?
oh, this property is Don Prothero and he eliminated the right of way here,
Got it.
okay? And this is Nicholas Bork and, you know, eventually we may have that donated